have been marginalized, overlooked, underrepresented, and ignored. But don't worry, they have a sense of humor about it. Joining us today are the founders of the Black Women in Comedy Festival. Joanna Briley is the festival's director. Welcome to Woman 2BK.
Thank you, thank you.
And with her is a familiar face here at BRIC House, comedian, actress, and writer Hollie Harper. Good to have you back in the studio.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So Joanna, you write on the website that the Black Women Comedy Festival was born of rage.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Well, I was having a discussion in a Facebook group, and it turned into an argument of sorts. And at the end of the argument, I was like, you know what? Later for you guys, we're going to create our own festival.
What was the argument?
Well, there was a festival happening, and we didn't see any Black women in the festival. So we questioned it. And I was like, well, okay, if that's how it's going to be, let's just create our own festival. And it was so quick because I just started, I went to the website. I just started gathering so much information because I was upset. I was upset, and I normally don't get upset. I say I don't do drama, I do comedy. So
It's not the Black Women Drama Festival.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's comedy
Although
festival.
I would attend that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, that might be another section.
Yeah.
Right.
And is that sort of a typical experience that you guys have had of like looking at a lineup and not seeing anyone who looks like you?
Well, I definitely do see that. I just want to say that I'm not one of the founders of the festival. I'm a participant.
Yes.
I'm very proud.
Yes.
So happy to be in it. So honored. This woman is a creator of the festival. She's amazing, Joanna.
Duly
Briley.
noted.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Absolutely
Thank you.
amazing. So I just want to get that out right.
Absolutely.
Proud to be in the festival, though. So proud. But I do see a very serious lack of representation because I see Black women, like when we do shows, and I see other shows that are like, more geared towards women or Black people, even very rarely, like a Black woman, there's a ton of Black female comedians.
Yes.
And they're hilarious. And
Yes.
so when I do these shows, sometimes I'm like, how come I'm not seeing them here and there and everywhere? So there is a lack. There is.
And have you ever been on a lineup where you are the only Black woman?
Yes. In my career, I have 20 years in the business, and I remember either it was just me or another Black comedian in the show, but not on the same day. So it's either me or her.
Right.
That they choose for this particular lineup.
God forbid you have two Black women on the same bill.
So
Take over.
yeah.
Joanna, what does that do to your comedy then when you are potentially the only Black woman on a lineup? Do you feel the need to like speak for all Black women, or do you feel more pressure to represent the people in the audience who may be there?
I try to, each time I'm on stage, I share a part of myself, my reality. I don't necessarily speak for everyone because, my upbringing basically dictates how I get on stage or what I do on stage. So I try to have fun and connect with the audience that way. So if I am the only Black woman, they're going to get my experience. And usually it's funny, so when there is a lineup and there are more than one Black, you see so many various styles.
And perspectives.
So that's why this festival is so important, because I just don't understand how the industry never thought to do this.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for us. I mean, SNL had, hired a few Black women.
It was like a hunt 3 or 4 years ago.
So, I mean,
Right, because there was a huge problem where they didn't have any Black people.
Exactly.
And we had a Black president, we had a
Yes.
Black first lady, and they were like, I guess we should probably hire
Get-
some Black actors for this show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact that this festival was born out of rage and frustration, I'm so excited that it's here in New York City, the mecca of stand-up comedy. So we have SNL here, so I'm hoping that the industry come out to see us and to see the different women from all over that have submitted and were selected. So it's going to be fun.
And Hollie, do you think that coming from a place of rage feeds into better comedy? Like, do
Definitely.
you think that somebody who has been born of privilege, do you think that they're like inherently less funny?
No. No, I don't, because I've hung with some very underprivileged and some very privileged people, and it's not about being underprivileged does not make you funnier. I think it's just if you're born funny. I think you're just a funny person.
It's innate.
definitely. But I definitely think that Black women in coming up, seeing a lack of representation has definitely put a rage in me too. I've come back to stand-up. I started out as a stand-up, and then I went into sketch comedy, and then came back to stand-up comedy, and now I do both. But my sketch comedy group that I formed was definitely out of rage because I was not seeing Black women in sketch comedy the way we should. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy because I remember the rage moment that I felt. I remember I'd come back to watching SNL after not watching it for like 15 years.
Wow.
And all of a sudden I was like, are you kidding?
Joanna, you have a show called Laugh Tracks?
Yes, because I also work for the MTA.
Tell me what you do for the MTA.
I'm in the token booth. I'm one of the nice ones.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And I'm sorry for everybody who approaches you with a bad attitude.
But that's where I get my material from, because
what a rich mind.
Yes.
What dames of mine.
I love, I just love interacting with different people because there's stories. As they say, there's 8 million stories. And when you come into the subway, just multiply that because you meet tourists. I love tourists. I sell them maps for $5.
Hollie, you also have had a terrifying experience with public transit. Is this right? That you were almost hit by a bus?
Oh my God.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I was on a Twitter fight and I walked right out into the intersection. And I almost got hit by the B38. Like this,
Twitter is dangerous.
It is.
Yeah, I know. It was crazy because I was like, no more Facebook fights, only Twitter fights. And the Twitter fight almost got me killed.
And
I
like,
was
no more Twitter fights.
Yeah, I do them at home. I just up on the couch.
I'm curious about, do you guys feel like there are limits to comedy? Are there topics that are just not funny ever?
Well, I want to say that,
Yes.
but then I don't want to underestimate somebody's ability to make a joke.
Yes.
Because I know there's things that I don't touch,
Right.
but I don't say it's off limits for everybody.
What are some of the things that you won't touch?
Well, I haven't come up with any good rape jokes. Like I haven't, but somebody might. Do you know what I mean? Like, but like that you're actually punching up, that you're not
Right.
punching down. You know what I mean? Like, how do you? If someone can make a joke and punch up, maybe that's a skill you have. I don't have that skill with a rape joke yet.
My sister passed away in the past 6 months, and I actually got on stage the day she passed, my sister, and I was like, oh my God, my sister passed, and I get all my clothes back, like, because she
I
stole
remember
my
that.
clothes. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I was like,
Sister problems.
I was like,
yeah, she got my clothes, now I get my clothes back. So it was cathartic, and that's the healing process.
Right.
All comedians, most comedians, that is a tool that we use to heal.
Yeah, you have to laugh.
Yeah.
So what do you say to comedians who are maybe doing like, racial or sexist humor, and they're like, it's just a joke. Like, can't you guys take a joke?
I think the intent, you can feel the intent of the joke, whether it was malicious or whether it was authentically funny.
What do you think, Hollie?
I think that if you're going to tell a joke that you know is foul, like it's really going to offend somebody, then the joke has to be funnier than it is foul.
I just want to be funny. I just want people to laugh. I want people to feel good.
Yeah.
I want them to look at me and like, I wouldn't expect that from her. And that's what I've been able to do with the show Laugh Tracks. Laugh Tracks was born because I was sitting in the booth and I love to laugh and I work by the tracks. I put it together and then I found other MTA workers that were just as funny and we put shows together and it's therapy.
Yeah.
You need therapy.
You need to laugh.
Yeah.
I know, and I started stand up from waiting tables, so it's like
wow.
the same
Service
type.
industry,
Yeah, with customers because people were just driving me absolutely crazy. And then one night I was like, I'm just gonna have fun with these people, and everything changed. And then one night there was an open mic and it was music, and this guy didn't show up, and they were like, we need you to host a mic.
Wow.
And so then that's what happened. That's how I started doing stand-up. But it really was, but even when I get nervous now, I try to look at people like, oh, this is one big table. I'm like, this is just one big table of customers. Just be fine.
And Joanna, maybe we can just close out with the details of the festival. Tell us where people can learn more information and when it's going to be running.
The festival, you can go to blackwomenincomedyfestival.com. It's Thursday, February 28th. through Sunday, March 3rd. On Thursday, we have a meet and greet at the Brooklyn House of Comedy, which is on Bedford and Putnam. One of the things that I love about this festival, it's like a pub crawl. The venues are within walking distance. So we have Brooklyn House of Comedy, we have Jollof Restaurant, we have Tilly's, and we have Corners. They're like 2 to 3 block radius of each other. So you could just walk to one venue to the next venue. And we have great shows. The Icons of Comedy is one of my favorites. I produce that. And it's where comics pay homage to people past or present. And
Great, and people can find all of this information
yes,
and
on the
more
website. Yes. Or
Terrific.
Facebook or Instagram.
Great. All right.
Yes.
Well, Joanna, Hollie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
Hope you come to laugh.